and today we're taking a look at the Samsung Galaxy Tab 2 7.0. This is their 7-inch tablet, the counterpart to the Galaxy Tab 2 10.1, which is their 10-inch tablet. This one would obviously be more in line with the size of the Kindle Fire or the Nook tablet, only this one is running Android 4.0. This one's going to retail for about $250, so it's in the price range of the Kindle Fire and the Nook tablet, but because it runs Android 4.0, it's more of a full tablet experience, which does include things like the Amazon Kindle app and the Nook app, so you're not really missing out on much aside from a specialized UI. Samsung has put TouchWiz on this device, which in some places adds some things. Mostly it's just kind of different. One thing that I do like that they've added, and I would like to see more people do this, more manufacturers. This little button down here, little up bracket, you tap on that, you get a little dock of apps. The alarm, calculator, email, music player, S Planner, which is their calendar app, task manager, and world clock. And all of these apps, these are available no matter where you are in the system. You tap one, and they will appear as a floating app above whatever else you're doing. So you can tap it, you can move it around, drag it around, use it while you're doing something else, and it will stay no matter where you are. So, unless you do math wrong. And that is something that outside of things like Overscreen and AirCalc, we haven't really seen. We haven't really seen any manufacturers do that. To be clear, that's not the first time that Samsung's done this. But it is a nice option that they have on their devices. A few other things they've modified. Down here you see the navigation button, the back, home, and the multitasking button, which, by the way, a note on the size, I think that 7-inch tablets, in my opinion, don't really give Ice Cream Sandwich enough room to work. You can see the settings box over here takes up quite a bit of space. The floating widgets here take up quite a bit of space. That's almost a third of the screen there. And the navigation buttons down here, for example, I don't have huge hands, but my fingers can cover up about 2 of those icons instead of just one, which is typical for most of the 10-inch devices. So it can get a little bit difficult to navigate if you're not used to a smaller device. You know, I use the Epic 4G Touch, so I'm used to about 4.5-inch device. But if that's not a problem for you, and that's a preference thing, that's what you like, not what is right. So if you don't mind smaller tablets, then this would be good for you. But if you're on the fence, I'd say try it out before you buy it. But this button is something that Samsung has added in TouchWiz, is a screenshot button. Now on other devices, like the Galaxy S2, to take a screenshot, you would hold the home button and the power button, and it would take a screenshot that way. This one, you just tap it, and it takes a screenshot. Now that is always present. No matter where you are in the UI, you can take a screenshot, whether on purpose or accidentally. So it's nice that it's there, but it does kind of get in the way a little bit. As a whole, though, this device is very good for media. You know, it's got a nice screen. It's an AMOLED display, not Super AMOLED Plus or anything, but it is an AMOLED display. You've got the Marvel comic reader. You know, pictures are very crisp, very high resolution. You can read the images very clearly. It's capable of high-definition video playback, so that looks great on the screen. So if you want to sit and watch movies on this, it's great for that as well.
War has started.
See, that just looks amazing on there. As a whole, it's a great media device. And Samsung has not skimped on the hardware either. This is a solid casing here. It's got a micro SD card slot right up here. On the other side is the power button, the volume rocker, the infrared blaster, and we'll get to that one in a second. The rear camera back here, and of course the front-facing camera on the top, so it does have dual cameras. And it's very solid, very sturdy, just what we'd expect from Samsung hardware in their tablets. All in all, it's a good device for the price. Actually, it's a good device for probably a little bit higher price, but don't tell Samsung I said that. That IR blaster, though, Samsung has packaged this in here. I believe this is available in the Play Store outside of this tablet, but I haven't looked into that. But this is the Smart Remote, which you can use this device to control your TV, your DVR, your cable box without any other hardware. So, and it comes loaded with a bunch of codes. I was able to use it on a Samsung flat screen TV and an AT&T Uverse cable box. And once you program it in, for starters, you get these controls on the side, the back, the navigation, forward, backward, volume buttons. You also get, it can plug into the subscription service that you use. So right now, this is showing what's on AT&T Uverse right now for comedy, drama, and you tap on a show, and it'll pull up a place where if we were in front of the TV right now, I could tap on Watch on TV, and it would change it to that channel. So that's actually pretty impressive. I was very pleased to find out that this worked pretty well. I had a little bit of trouble setting it up. I'm not sure if that's a line of sight problem or if it's the code's not quite working right. It was kind of, the instructions were to point it at your TV, and when it does the thing we want it to do, let us know. So it's not any two-way communication, but it does work very well. And that's the story overall for this tablet, is that it's very good. It's the only reason to not get this tablet is if you want something bigger. That's the only real deficiency I have with this. You'll notice that, a lot of the apps on here, they look like, and a lot of the Android apps already look like phone apps. This is one of the few places those apps look at home. Some of the tablet-sized apps don't look as great. So, like, for example, I'll go into Gmail here, and there's not as much room to move around. This one is good, but it's not as roomy as a larger tablet would be, which, if that's not a concern for you, that's great. But Ice Cream Sandwich does feel a little cramped on this device, which I'm not fond of. I think that the phone version of tablet, when they first released the original Galaxy Tab, that looked better. This is good, but it's very small. If that's not a problem for you, though, this is a $250 tablet that is not tied to a set of services, that looks great and works great. So give it a look.